we really need your help to help these folks that are in Africa. It's Michael and Doris Fortson. They're from Texas. They've got a great story. They're doing a great thing out there. But they need if you need a place to give and do, this is the place to do it. We want to encourage you to do that. So we need you to make lots of comments. If you hear something that they're saying that you like, do likes and thumbs up and lots of comments, because that is what gains exposure with these videos. When you share it and put comments, because when you comment, then we can reply. I know we can reply and we can comment, and it just keeps it going and it gets them lots of exposure. So please share and comment.
Okay. As we bring them on, just watch it, and I believe that love without action is nothing. And so you may not be able to go to Africa and help them, but if you're looking to give to an organization, this is the place to do it. I am telling you right now, they are an incredible people. So, oh my goodness. Hi guys.
There we are.
Oh no.
Hey guys, can you hear us?
We can.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You can? Good. We have babies lined up to see you.
Yay!
Hi guys.
Hey.
Yeah, we'll start out with babies.
Yeah, let's start with babies, because they're liable to start crying at any minute.
There we go.
Now,
So we just want to say,
we've brought the little ones up because it's nighttime here, and the crawlers and toddlers are asleep.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I think Daryl and Tracy, I think this is the one that came in with the two little girls, and you saw her in a diaper that was up to her chest. And you can see how beautiful she is now.
wow.
She's just a little tiny perfect person.
Beautiful.
Isn't she wonderful? Her name is Rachel, and her mom died, which happens way too often here. And oh, baby doll, don't cry. Yeah, isn't she precious?
Here you go.
And is the other little one that came in at that time?
Oh,
wait, Linda, you want to say, we've got volunteers here, and hey, can you get in here? You can tell them.
You gotta get way over here.
Oops.
Hi.
We're having fun with these little babies. We just need more volunteers right now. But they're all wonderful. Thank you all for doing this.
It's a great place for volunteers to come.
This is Joshua.
Yeah. All right, this is little Joshua right here.
Hi.
Hi. And Ceci is the nanny. We have 55 full-time employees here. And we love to tell people they're the only people paid here. As Michael said the other night, God gave us the ability to have our own income when we retired from ministry. And hi, darling. Oh, pretty precious. We love to kiss on these little ones. Joshua's mom is a drug addict and abandoned him twice. She left him in a field the first time. She was found and brought back, and then left him again. So he's quite a little smiley baby, but they're all kind of getting ready for bed. When he came in, he wouldn't open his eyes. His eyes were shut for 2 weeks. I thought he was a little puppy, you know, the little puppies open their eyes in 2 weeks. But he's quite a little smiley, and he loves Miss Linda, so he's smiling at her right now. Ceci, can you say hi?
Hi.
Ceci has a baby herself, so she loves these little ones.
Very good.
All right. Thank you, Ceci.
Thank you.
Okay. You will.
All right, Gertrude.
Okay.
All right, this is Gertrude, and I'm not sure who she's got. Oh, she's got Kenny. Looks like he's trying to go to sleep right here. Gertrude speaks some English. Most of our nannies only speak Swahili, but Gertrude speaks some English. So can you?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
My name is Gertrude. I'm working at Neema for 4 years. I love the babies. I love my director, Doris Eddie, Michael.
We didn't tell her to say that, I promise. This is little Kenny. Let me get him out because I want you to see this little guy. This little fella was left in a box on the street. He was newborn, And look how precious he is now. Mwah. Isn't he, darling? Yeah, we fall in love with them the day they come into our place. And let me tell you too, I'm gonna let Michael talk in a minute. But we don't go out to the street and pick up babies, okay? The hospital or social welfare will call us when they have a baby that's been brought in. And we work with social welfare closely with them. They help us get the babies adopted out. And so I have to tell people that, yeah, we don't just go out and pick up babies off the street. That baby boy. I wrote a blog. If you've ever been on our website, you know that we write their stories. And I wrote a story about in a box, that things come in a box, chocolates come in a box, gifts come in a box, babies should not come in a box.
Yeah.
And so this is our little guy. We love him. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Gertrude.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, this is Anna. And this is Brian. Anna, I love telling people, Anna is our singer. She loves to sing. And I'm normally the singer, but I'm having a lot of voice problems right now. And this is Joshua. I'm trying to remember. Brian. This is Brian. And okay. Brian was left on the road. I have to tell you, we've now had, I counted today. We don't like to count numbers because we're not in the number business. We help the babies as they come in. He's smiling at you, look at that. But I did count today. We've had 209 babies that we've helped through Neema Village in 6.5 years. He smiled. Linda's back there behind the camera making him smile. Brian was left on the street.
Wow.
Yes, you little doll, baby. Yes, you are, little doll. And he will be getting a new family one of these days, we hope. We usually, the social welfare will give the family time for someone to come forward. But so far, no one has come forward. So he'll have a new family. Isn't that right?
He sure will.
Did you? Anna, did you say hi?
Hi.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and do Dennis.
Dennis.
David,
All right.
because he's sick.
This little guy is a twin. They look so big on camera. They're really little bitty guys.
Yeah.
This is Glory. She's one of
Hi,
our
Glory.
awesome nannies. We absolutely love our nannies. Glory just got married. So let's go.
Yay.
David and Dennis are little twins whose mom was contemplating abandoning them. A church brought the mom and the two babies in, and we talked her into staying. We kept her in one of our mom's rooms. We have some rooms that we can put women in that are in danger, different things. Anyway, and we've talked her into starting a business through our MAP program. MAP is Mothers Against Poverty. And we've got 23 women set up in businesses, chicken businesses, egg businesses, beekeeping businesses, whatever we can dream up to help them. We always told people abandoned babies was not the problem. Women who are poor and desperate.
Yeah, that's right.
And so our MAP program has been so exciting this year. And we're excited for his mom because she's going to start a used clothing business. And we're going to help her with that. We're going to help her buy a bundle of clothes. It costs $150 to buy a bundle of clothes. And she'll be able to start a business. We have other women that will mentor her who have also started businesses. This is Dennis. Dennis was in the hospital for 3 weeks. And he's well now, but his little twin is sick. And so we deal with, we have 62 babies and some big kids on the campus right now. And there's always a sickness going around. A few of them have had bumps. So, Gloria, you want to say something?
Hi,
Hi.
I am Gloria. I'm working Neema 3 years now. I love you, the babies.
Yes.
These little guys are 8 months old.
They're so appreciative. Right now, we're trying to raise money for their bonuses. They don't know about this, so don't tell them, it's a secret. But we're trying to raise money for their Christmas bonus, and they all have family, and, you know, I just tell people, share your Christmas with women who won't have, they won't have Christmas unless we help them, you know.
Can I
So-
ask you a
You
question?
tell them these little guys are 8 months old.
Oh, this little fella is 8 months old. He probably weighs about 12 pounds. Now, he doesn't look like it in that film, but I think he probably does. Hi, darling. Come kiss. Okay.
Hey, Doris, can I
Yes.
ask a question?
Yes.
Is it possible for people to send clothes over there for the used clothing to help get that started up?
It's really hard for us to get things in through the postal service. They want to charge us enormous amounts of what do they call it?
Customs.
Customs. We did ship a container and had a lot of clothes in that. But we generally tell people, you come on, bring 3 suitcases
Yeah.
and bring clothes.
Okay, but
it's
you said,
just so
Doris,
expensive.
but Doris, you said that you said that you could buy a bunch of clothes for like $150. Is that what you said? So how many people watching can send $150 and then that just helps them, you know?
Yeah.
I always say
Absolutely.
that,
That's a good way to do it.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, those
That's-
bundles
that's
are
what
probably
we-
like you do in America as well. You buy a bundle of either women's adult clothes, whatever you want to specialize in your business. If you want to specialize in baby clothes, you can buy a bundle of baby clothes. So that's the easiest way to do it. We've had people ship packages here. One I remember came in one of those, you know, about like that. And the postal service here wanted to charge us $150. We couldn't get it out. We had people ship a formula. If you can imagine, 23 babies here right now under the age of 8 months. Under the age of 8 months. Okay, that's a lot of formula. We had Nestle's from Germany that sent a bunch of formula. They wouldn't let us get it because they couldn't read German.
So
So
let me ask you.
yes,
So that's why it's really important that, I mean, you guys really need money because of all the
we
red
need money.
tape.
Absolutely.
You need
Formula
money.
is available here. We can buy formula, and actually used clothes are available here. We can buy them. You know, we just have to have the resources to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're having a lot of our followers asking, I will send 150 this week. Where do I send it? So do we do like we did?
They go to the
on Neema
website,
Village?
and there's a button there on the very first page that says how to help. You can click on that, and it will take you to a donate page. It's secure donation. We pay a credit card processing company to take care of those kinds of things. And so it's, you know, that's the easiest way to do it. And so, you know, I would just encourage people to go look it up. Yeah.
Yeah, tell them our
The
website.
website is very easy, www.neemavillage.org.
It's www.neema and Neema spelled Neema. Two E's, and that means grace.
And we'll post it after the video's over. We'll make sure that that's the Facebook page, the link.
Okay,
we'll make
good.
sure all of that's
Good, that'll work.
That's great.
That's
All
great.
right. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
All right.
We've got 1 or 2 more here. Hang on.
All right.
All right, Doug. This is a great way to start. We want you to see this is why
Absolutely.
we're here. All right. Come on,
Oh my
Janie.
goodness.
Come on.
This is little bitty bitty
Josephine.
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 Oh my
And
goodness.
this is Janie. Janie is one of our lead nannies. She's been with us from the beginning, and she's a great worker. We love her very much. Yeah. All right.
Josephine's mom came in. She's a Maasai from a village way out on the plains. She had a stroke, and we can't, so far, no one can find the family. The father's name was put down before she died as Joseph, so we called this baby Josephine. Hopefully, we'll be able to find some family for her. It's very hard when you live that far out and you don't have electricity, you don't have any ways for people to contact you.
Can you bring Josephine a little closer to the camera so we can see her? She's so tiny. Can you bring her? There she is.
Oh my
There
God.
she is.
It's precious.
Those
She's
eyes.
so darling. Yeah, she's going to stick her little tongue out at you. Hey, tickle, babe.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Janie, these people visited Neema Village
Okay.
about a month ago. They came and they spent a few hours here with a large group. So they saw the
They
babies.
helped pay for our water well.
Okay.
So we can thank them for the water that we're drinking every day here.
Thank you.
Janie's one of our lead nannies. We have 3 shifts of nannies. They work 3 shifts a day, 3 shifts at night or days, and then 3 days off, and they designed that themselves. And so each shift of nannies has a lead nanny, and Janie is one of our lead nannies, so we love that. Yeah. Who have you got there?
Christopher.
Come on, sit down here. We need you in the.
And
we
this
need
is
you in the
another one of
show
our
here.
volunteers here right now.
This is Sophie from England.
Hi.
She's been with us about a week, so she's doing a great job. And she's a registered nurse, so she deals with very small babies.
She's a neonatal nurse.
Yeah.
And this is Christopher.
Oh, there you go.
That little Bobo. Christopher was left in a taxi. And his mom went in the store, said she had to go get something, and she never returned. So he's an abandoned baby, and he'll be looking for a new home as well. I told people we should have named him Taxi. These babies are loved and cuddled and handled every day. And that's what we like volunteers to come do, is hold babies.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to
Yeah.
hire
Hey,
enough people to hold them all the time.
Yeah. Hey, Doris. Yeah. So, hey, guys, we've got, I see a lot of questions coming in, but we've got a whole list of questions. They wanted to show us the babies first. So people are asking lots of questions. So we'll get to those in a minute. They wanted to just show you guys the babies real quick before, because it's 7:30 over there.
I think that's what I got. Now, you guys send your love to this little one. As you see this
Hearts.
baby, you send him your love, okay?
This is my last baby.
I don't.
Ebenezer was sound asleep.
Oh,
And this little
Ebenezer.
guy was not. So this is, let's see, Esther's,
Oh.
one of her brothers.
Yeah.
And we're gonna bring Esther up.
All right, this is a triplet. Now, you, isn't that the cutest little face you ever saw? We have helped here at Neema, you're not gonna believe this, 14 sets of triplets and 1 set of quads.
Wow.
These are not triplets with, what do you call DAWA? What's DAWA, honey? Fertility drugs. These
Right.
are natural triplets. We don't know why there's so many multiple births here, but there are. And this is a triplet. And this is his little tiny sister, Esther. She had some gastro problems, and we kept her in the hospital for about a month. But this is the little sister, and her name is Esther. It's Edward, Esther, and Elisha.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
let's get her out.
So you can see how
Yeah,
tiny
put her up.
she
See how little she is compared to her brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, put her-
Lean in a little bit here.
We gotta be really careful. We certainly don't want to drop a baby on live.
No.
But you can see how little she is compared to him.
Hi.
And this nanny is named Lydia. She is a new
Hi,
nanny
Lydia.
here. I got it right, didn't I? Okay, good. Yeah.
And she speaks good English. So what would you like to say?
Yes, we need help for the children.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. They're big-eyed babies, all 3 of these little triplets, and they're just absolutely gorgeous babies. You should see Linda. I should turn this camera
No,
around.
you
They're
shouldn't.
making all kinds of faces, trying to get these babies to grin.
Because they do grin a lot.
Yeah, they do.
do.
This little one right here was 1.2 kilos when we brought her home. There was practically nothing to her except a head and a little bit of skin and bones for her body. But it doesn't take them long with all this love and attention and good formula for them to get their little chubby
She's about
cheeks.
4 months.
Yeah, they're 4 months
They're
old.
4 months old.
They're 4 months old, yeah.
So she's about the size of a newborn now.
Yeah, she is. She may be Oh, about 8 or 9 pounds now. Yeah.
But her brother is big.
He's a big guy.
And the other brother is identical to him.
And the other brother, this is so funny. These 2 little boys are identical. We can't tell them apart, but the little girl is totally different. So I don't know how that works. Some medical person can explain that, I'm sure. Can you say bye-bye?
Okay.
Can you say bye-bye?
All right, we're gonna show you one more.
One more.
Okay. Sadie.
No, we've already done this one.
We've already done
All
that.
right.
Okay.
All right,
I
good.
wanted to show you Ebenezer, but they're telling me Ebenezer's asleep because Ebenezer will always smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ebenezer's the one whose mother tried to kill him. And so social welfare took him away, and he's such a cute baby. Oh, it's just so sad.
So,
We
let me-
love to tell people though, we don't judge these moms, you know?
No.
And I tell our nannies, abandoned babies happen in Houston, Texas too.
That's
You
right.
know, it's not just in Africa. That happens all over the world. That's not a place problem. It's a heart problem. And it happens anywhere.
So let me just give you a little bit of background, and I know people are gonna wanna know that, you know.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Love you.
all. Yeah. So, you know, Doris and I came to Tanzania in 1965 as young missionaries. We spent 6 years here. We learned the language. We learned to love the people, the culture, everything about it. Then we went back to the States. We were involved in ministry all of our lives. You know, about 6 or 7 or 8 years ago now, I retired from full-time ministry. And so that gave us the opportunity to come back to Tanzania. Now, our heart's always been here. Doris likes to say, you can leave Africa, but Africa never leaves you. And I think that that's very true. And I had made a number of trips back here from time to time, so I stayed kind of in touch with things. But in 2008, we brought 2 of our children who were born in Tanzania back in the 60s. We wanted them to see where they were born. We saw on the streets of Dar es Salaam, the big city, we saw little toddlers coming up and begging at the cars. And we had never seen anything like that back in the 60s. So life had changed a lot in Tanzania. AIDS, urbanization, lots of different factors involved in that, the breakdown of the family. So, you know, they just, in the 60s, they didn't have the problem of taking care of children the way they do now. So we felt like that this is what we needed to do now in our retirement. And so we made a tour of Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya in 2011. We visited 22 different orphanages. We saw how to do some of the work. We saw good points and bad points, you know. And then in 2012, I came by myself, left Doris in the States to raise money. I came by myself in March of 2012. And by the 1st of June, we were ready to open our doors and start taking in children. And it's just been, God has just opened the doors one after the other to allow us to do this.
Yeah.
You know, and when we started, we had literally nothing, you know, we
rented a house.
we rented a house.
With no furniture.
I went to rummage sales to find different things that we needed. I had baby beds constructed. I made double-decker baby beds so that we could maximize our space. You know, and it's just been one little step after another. But you know, God has seemed to bless us, and we do want to give Him the glory in all of this. This is not our work, you know. We've just answered the call, and I think that God gives the call in many different ways, and He opens all kinds of doors for people and says, "Here's a need, here's a need, here's a need." You know, step in and take care of that. And so we've answered that call, and you know, you can do the same thing, of course. So, but this is what we're doing here at Neema Village, and we're really not an orphanage. So sometimes people call us an orphanage, but we're really not an orphanage. We're a rescue center for orphaned, abandoned, and at-risk babies. Our goal is that they would, first of all, be reunited with extended family when that's possible. The second goal is that they would be adopted into a good family whenever that's necessary. And the third goal, of course, would be that we would keep them, provide for them, and raise them up and give them a good education, and tell them about the Lord. You know, we want them all to know about the Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
And our vision has grown over the years. As Doris has said, the real problem is not abandoned and orphaned babies. The real problem is mothers who have no education, who are in poverty, who have no resources available. And so we've stepped in to try to make a difference with that. That's our MAP program.
Let me say something about that, because that's so important for people to understand. In America, you have all kinds of resources. You have all kinds of projects and programs to help people. And we have people confront us many times. Well, we have poor people in America. Yes, you do. But you also have so many programs from the government, from nonprofits to help. Here, if a woman is poor and desperate, she has no choice. I mean, we have choices in America. You can call your grandmother, you can sell your car, you can go to the bank and borrow money. Here, if you feel like you have no choices, it's really sad here. And we talk with women all the time who need help. We have our criteria. Our criteria is a baby. They have to have a baby for us to help them with the MAP program. But we interview people all the time who need help and have no place to go. So, you know, and I also want to make sure that you knew that we are just a baby home. There are orphanages in Arusha, many orphanages, many daycares, many orphanages. We are strictly a baby home. We don't take over the age of 2 years, okay? Well, I have to take that back. We did take a little girl, I'm sorry. We took a little girl that the police picked up off the street. She's 12 years old. She was begging on the street. Her family dropped her off to beg. And social welfare said, we have no place to put her. She's in a wheelchair. She's crippled. Can you keep her just for tonight? That's been what, 4 months ago?
That's been about 6 months ago now.
About 6 months ago.
And so we like her, we're gonna keep her.
We put her in school, and we are boarding her with a family that just lives across the street from Neema. And we pick her up, send her to school every day. She's 12 years old, been able to go to school. She's in first grade for the first time. And we just love her. We just love her. She's, you know, she's not a baby, but she's ours, so we're going to keep her.
Her name is Sophia, yeah.
And we do have some older kids here that you see if you look at our Facebook page, but they're kids who can't go back home. There are at-risk babies. We have a blind baby in blind school. We have a young man that's cerebral palsy. He's 6 years old. We have him in school. His name's Frankie. He was our first baby. We could talk all night. I tell you what, let's hear some questions. We don't want to bore people.
No.
Let's have some questions.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, this is not boring by any means. People have tons of questions. I made a list of some too, and we'll try to make sure we get to all of them. So, so you've given us your history there. Tell us what Neema Village, the name Neema means, where you got the name.
Okay, Neema does mean grace, and when we were doing our tour of orphanages, we toured an orphanage in Gita, down in Gita.
That's in Western Tanzania.
In Western Tanzania, and we talked with a social worker there, and he had on his phone a picture of a very extremely emaciated baby that they had picked up out of the forest, and he said, we think if we'd been 2 hours later, we wouldn't have been able to save her. He said, right now we have no place to put her, and her name is Neema.
They named her Neema, yeah.
And at the time I thought, if we get to start a home,
Yeah.
let's call it Neema.
So, you know, that's a popular name even in Tanzania. I mean,
Yeah.
there are schools and hospitals and various things.
People named Neema.
Lots of people who are named Neema.
Uh-huh.
And so we've even had one of our new babies named Neema Grace, which is redundant.
Yeah, Neema Grace means means grace.
Yeah,
So anyway, we've loved the name. It does get us in trouble sometimes because there are other Neema houses in Arusha. There's Neema houses in Kenya. So you have to make sure that you pull up Neema Village or you'll be donating to the wrong place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We've had that happen. Yeah.
How would people, if people want to volunteer, how do they go about the process? If somebody wants to come over there, how do they go
We've
about
got a section on our website about volunteering. If you go to the bottom of our homepage there, you'll see a whole section about volunteering, and you can click on that, and it's just full of information. You can basically, what people need to do is they need to send us an application. The application can actually be downloaded from our website. It's downloaded as a PDF. They need to fill it out, and then they need to scan it and email it back to us. It should be emailed back to volunteer@neemavillage.org.
Now, it's about 5 pages long. We do research volunteers. You can't be a pedophile and come here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
we call, we get references, and most people will come for about 2 weeks to a month. After a month, it sometimes gets a little hard after a month, so that we've decided to cut it off at about a month. We do have a few long-term volunteers that have come for a year that stay and work with us. We've had a volunteer coordinator that just went home. We miss her. Emily, if you're watching. So we miss them when they go.
To be a long-term volunteer requires getting a special visa. It's pretty hard to do. It costs quite a bit of money, but you can get just what's called a volunteer visa at the airport, and that's what we require all of our volunteers to do. For Americans, it costs $250 for that visa. But that's just required by immigration that we do that. Now, we have a really great volunteer house that we've built here. It was built by a family that's very dear to us, and they come very often. It will actually house 22 volunteers at a time. It's 6 bedrooms, 6 baths. So we have 5 bedrooms that have double bunks, 2 double bunks in each one, and then we've got a VIP room.
Think of it as kind of going to camp.
So, but we saved that for couples.
Now, let me tell you, we've had people as old as 83 come to volunteer, and they have loved it. We've had some moms with their daughters. Now, under 18, you do have to be accompanied by your mom, but anybody can come. The 83-year-old had an absolute blast. She sat in a chair, and we'd bring her a baby. She'd coo and pup and cuddle, and then we'd take that baby and bring her another one. So it's a great place to come. And if you want to see Africa and fall in love with Africa, come here for a week or so. Go out and see the animals. You can't come to Tanzania
You can do that in a
without
day
going
or
to the
2 or
animals.
3.
We give you time to do that. We require our volunteers to work 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
But that gives you time to go out and see Africa. People come to climb Kilimanjaro, the tallest mountain in Africa. We call it the roof of Africa.
Yeah.
And
by the way, we'll be doing a charity climb of Mount Kilimanjaro next July, the first 2 weeks of July.
You two should come.
I'm just getting ready to put the margin out on that. And that's a way that we can raise money as well as awareness for Neema Village. Now, let me tell you that most volunteers come and hold babies and play with babies, and that's a lot of fun. Almost everybody does that. But if that's not your special thing, there are other things. We need people who are good photographers, who will document things for us, people who are good with QuickBooks, who can help us in the office, people who like to work with our gardens. We have an extensive garden that we're trying to get to produce all the food, all of the fruits and vegetables.
Did you guys see the garden when you were here?
No, I don't think we did.
Did you see the cows?
Okay.
No.
We also just got our 3rd milk cow, and we have chickens for eggs. So there's lots of different things that people can be involved in. We've got a shop. There's always something broken that needs repaired,
And we build
Daryl.
chicken
That's
coops.
not Daryl.
That's not him.
Not him.
We
Not
build
your
chicken
Terry.
coops for our Mount moms who want to start a chicken business. It'll hold 40 chickens. And we've had some business majors come and work out how many eggs per day do they need to sell to make enough money to live on.
Yeah.
And so we've worked that program up for them. And I think we've got about 7 women working the egg business, the chicken business. So we build those chicken coops all the time. We've got a chicken coop going almost all the time building.
Good.
So there's lots of things. If you don't want to hold the baby, come on, we'll put you.
And a lot of volunteers are concerned about what are we going to eat, you know? We have a cook and a helper at the volunteer house. They cook breakfast and they cook dinner, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Lunch is with our nannies and everybody else here at Neema Village. Weekends, we often go out and eat at a restaurant. We take our volunteers out. You get good food, you know. Most people are happy with the food and with the accommodation.
Well, you know, there's some days it's beans and rice, but that's healthy, you know. So, yeah, beans and rice with a cabbage is fine. Yeah.
Okay, so
What other questions?
Let's see if we can
okay.
hear.
I'm sorry. So you guys were telling us when we were there that the adoption process is not as easy as what one would think it would be. That there's a really long process you have to go through and whatnot. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, yeah. You have to live in Tanzania, and this is a Tanzanian law. It's not our stipulation. You have to live in Tanzania 3 years before you can adopt. You know, there's some stipulations like that. Now, Tanzanian couples, it's easier for them, but it's also not in their culture. There's not even a word in Swahili for adoption.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot when we go out to churches here to people, Tanzanian couples, about adopting, sharing their home with a little one that needs help.
Yeah.
And we've had 34 adoptions. We have a baby living in Dar es Salaam who was abandoned in a front yard in the grass. He was naked. He still had his umbilical clamp on. He spent all night in the front yard. He had a grass rash on his face not our front yard, but when we got him. He's living with a surgeon in Dar es Salaam now.
Yeah, so
Is
he
that
has a
not
really
incredible?
good family. Yeah.
I tell people what evil meant for death, God meant for life here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is so incredible when these families come back. We actually had one come back today, a little one that we had returned home. His dad brought him back in to see us. We love that. We love seeing them come back in. But we've had 34 babies adopted. We put, I've got my little list here. I had to go count. Like I say, we're not in the counting business. We had 41 that have been returned home. If their mom dies and their dad finally remarries, then he can take them back home. Or if a grandmother, you know, decides that once they're off the bottle, to return a baby back to a Maasai village where there's no clean water, no electricity, no refrigeration, is almost sure death for the baby. So we like for them to be off the bottle before they go back home. And we've had 41 go back home.
Yeah, the statistics we have heard is that if a mother dies out in the remote area, only 1 in 10 of those babies will survive unless they have some special help.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important that we help these babies.
We also have 62 babies that we've been able to help in our outreach program. Maybe they had a grandmother that was young enough and was able, maybe here in town. We've helped them in their homes. It's cheaper for us to help them at home.
So we provide formula, we provide
clean water, formula, food,
we provide medical care
in their home.
They stay in their home.
So we've been able to help 63 of those, and many of those are the triplets that we've told you about. We've had triplets here as well, but the little quads, the 4 that were born, we were able to help them in their home. Yeah. And so that's a good thing, to be able to help them in our outreach program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So another question?
So
did that answer that question?
We've got a few more.
Okay.
Okay. So the next question would be, if people, I'm not sure how this works, but if people want to make a donation but maybe they want it to go to something specific, is that like the clothing or the business, the MAP? I mean, is there some way they can specify where they want the money to go, or how does that work? People might want to.
Yes, they can. They certainly can. The MAP program, has its own budget that goes through Neema Village. We started that program, so we have a category in our QuickBooks. If you know anything about QuickBooks, which I don't, we have categories. We have a MAP category. We have a farm category for our cow and helping with the chickens and the cows. We have our What are some of the other categories? Michael works with that.
Well, from time to time, people will want to help us with a building program. That money goes into a special fund that is designated only for those buildings.
Uh-huh.
You know, or we've had other people who said, I want to help you with your agricultural program. We want to help buy a cow. So they sent money specifically for a cow. So we've used that money in that way. Oftentimes, the IRS does not like you to put a specific name on a donation. And our treasurer back in the States has emphasized this. So when you make a donation, don't list it for, you know, this particular person. Now, you can list a baby as a sponsor, but not a person.
Then it's not tax deductible. You can give it, but it won't be tax deductible. If you say, I want to help that nanny, I like that nanny that came in, it won't be tax deductible. And I know people like things tax deductible. And let me tell you, we pay for an audit every year. It's a hefty sum, but we want to show people that we are upfront with where we spend their money. And our bookkeeper's very specific. If people have given money for a specific project, we have to spend it for that.
And if people want to see a copy of our audit or see a copy of our, what is it, the 901? 990. 990, okay, the 990. You know, just send us a request. We'll send that right off to you.
Yeah, we are a member of
CFO, Christian Alliance for Orphans. We're also a member of GuideStar, which is which is an organization that rates different NGOs and nonprofits.
Yeah, so you have to have your books in order to be a member of those organizations. And
I know that
we tell people our books are open. When you come to see us, come on in the office and look at our books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Blessing. And I know this, that whenever Tracy and I decided to give to you guys monthly, when we went in, there's a little box and it says up there, why did you give? And so people could probably go in there and also put, could you give to the MAP program? I mean, is that okay to do that?
They can, yes.
Okay.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and that's there for guests who come in, you know, and who say, well, you know, I'd like to get something right now. You can just drop it in the box, you know, that's fine.
Our MAP moms are making items that we've set up a thing there for them to sell their items. One of the cutest things that we sell, we woke up one morning and there was a lady who couldn't walk sitting out in our driveway, in the middle of the driveway. And Michael went out there. She'd had polio when she was 12 and she walks on her knees. And so we brought her in, interviewed her, and decided to help her with a business. And we asked her, what business would you like to do? She said shoes. She'll never wear a pair of shoes, but she makes these gorgeous beaded shoes that people want to buy when they come in. And all that money goes to her. We put that in her envelope and it goes to her. So
wow.
We love helping them like that. You know, that's pretty cool.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned yesterday on our little commercial type thing that, you know, about handicapped babies and how you guys are, you know, you're wanting to start something or get something going for specifically for that, or with special needs, that sort of thing. So talk about a little bit about that and any other special things that you see on the horizon that you guys are feel called, that you're wanting to get started, that you might need help with or whatever like that.
Well, there's several things like that, and one of them that's really been on our minds lately is a daycare center for handicapped children. There simply is none at all available
that will take handicapped children.
That will take handicapped children, and yet there are many handicapped children, and several of our MAP moms have handicapped children.
I think it's about 6 of our MAP moms have a handicapped child. One of them has a 12-year-old that she carries on her back. You can't get a job with that, you know. Yeah. You've got to be able to put that child somewhere so that you can go work. This is a widow lady keeping a 12-year-old on her back. Yeah.
So in order to do
this child was abandoned with her. Yeah. She had a job, but quit her job in order to take care of this child. We have a mom who has a 7-year-old that she's been carrying for 7 years on her back. She got pregnant with another child. Her husband left her. So there she is. A preacher, a minister called us and said, you got to help this woman.
Yeah.
She has no money. Her husband
So
has
we
left
have.
her, and she's got a 7-year on her back,
Yeah.
and she was 8 months pregnant. She
Yeah.
is exhausted.
Yeah,
So we started her in a chicken business.
yeah,
But you know, if we'd had a daycare where she could put that child.
yeah. She could have found
Yeah.
a job perhaps somewhere else.
Yeah.
So the process will be, of course, you know, we've got to have funding for that. We've got to find a location that's appropriate for that. It's going to be labor intensive. We're going to have a large staff for that. So there are several things that we have to work on before we can actually just open the doors.
You know,
It's probably about a 6-month process to get things actually going. But this is on our hearts, and this is what we think.
yeah, God keeps after us about this. You know, the next woman that comes in has a handicapped child. It's like, he just keeps saying, come on, guys, I can do this. And I think we talked about this the other night. None of this is stuff that we can do. You know, people told us you can't do this. Taking care of babies is too expensive. Formula is too expensive. And we tell you, yes, absolutely, we can't. We are just two retired people, and we can't, but God can.
It's interesting that when we first started, we made an appeal to a local congregation that we were very close to. And we said, you know, we would like to buy some property and start an orphanage in Africa. And they weren't sure that we would be able to do that, especially at our age. And so they said, we will give you a $30,000 grant if you can raise $30,000. And so we said, okay, hey, that's great. We'll give it a go. And, you know, they gave us 6 months to do it. I think 2 months later, we had the $30,000.
We had it.
You know, but that's what God did.
Yeah.
When I talk about God opening the doors, that's just an example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he touched the hearts of people, and they gave the money. And so we had that first grant. So, and that's basically the way it's been all the way through our
But I can tell you
life
that
here.
this ministry is sponsored not by those big time grants.
Yeah.
We've never had a really big grant. We never have. Our sponsorship of $30 a month for these young college kids that come and volunteer and want to go home and sponsor a baby. Michael and I were campus ministers in Nacogdoches, Texas for almost 30 years. We loved campus ministry. We loved those college students. I tell people we played volleyball for a living for 30 years and loved those college kids. And a lot of those college kids are now sponsoring babies. And that's how we keep this ministry going. People ask us about sustainability. It's because we have many, many people giving $30 a month. That's how Compassion International works.
Yeah.
And they've been going 30 years. So we love the people who will give more than 30. It costs us way more than 30 to keep a baby
Absolutely.
at Neema.
Yeah.
It's almost $300 a month to keep a baby here. That takes care of a nanny. It takes care of formula. It takes care of food. We feed about over 50 adults a day here, don't we?
Yes,
We feed all of
that's
our
absolutely
employees
true.
3 meals a day here.
Yeah, so-
There's no hamburger. They don't go out to McDonald's for
Yeah.
lunch.
Yeah.
They don't bring their sandwich for lunch. We feed them here.
Yeah. So it costs a lot of money, is what
It
you
just
said.
costs a lot of
So,
money to
yeah.
keep
you
a
know,
baby here.
our funding is not very deep, but it is very wide.
Right,
So,
yeah.
and that's what.
And
that's
we
what
like that. If 10 people drop out, we're still okay. I used to hyperventilate every month thinking, God, are you going to do this again? This month, are we going to be able to pay these
Yeah.
people? And I stopped doing that because God's taking care of it. And when he says it's over, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're just following him. We just follow
Yeah.
God's lead wherever he goes on this.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So another thing, so a good point to make, I think, is that you said it cost about $300 to take care of a baby at your facility. And in reality, if you think about how much it costs in America I mean, that's nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? $300
Yeah.
to take care
Right.
of a baby to help you guys out. So I just kind of wanted to make that point. But also, you know, your location there is pretty. How big is your location there? You've got different buildings there, and houses for your
Yeah.
volunteers and
Is
workers.
it 12
How
acres now?
We have 12 acres of property that we have purchased, all right? And I think, how many buildings?
Nine buildings.
9 buildings so far.
We have a huge laundry
Yeah.
with a big commercial. Can you imagine? We don't put disposable diapers on them unless they're sick. If they have diarrhea, then they get a disposable diaper. Other than that, they have a cloth diaper on.
Yeah.
And so we have a big, huge commercial dryer that came from England. So we have a laundry, we have the baby home, we have the MAP Center now, where we have seminars, classes for women. We have women's rights seminars in there. A lot of these African women don't have any idea what their rights are. A widow has no idea what her rights are. We have a home for our older girls, and we have 9 girls there. 2 of those will be going home very soon. We have a Montana home for the big boys, and 2 of those boys will be going home very soon. We have the volunteer house. We have a widow's home, and that was built by a friend of ours, really great family that used to come visit us when we lived in Tanzania in the 60s. And her husband was killed, and she built that house. We have the volunteer house, and we have a shop. And we now have a barn, a tractor barn. We have a
Tractor barn, that was our latest thing.
Yeah.
So, but the next big building project we have actually is going to be our school building and our church building. And we have a site already that we plan to start preparing for that. We haven't completed the drawings on that, but that we hope in this next year, before summer, that we will have that school building and church building completely built. When that happens, we'll be starting to have church services here every Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Right now, we take the babies and go to visit different churches.
We'll still do that too. We like taking them out, especially those that need a family. We like taking them out, and they usually let us stand up and introduce them. We'll put a little bow in their hair and take them to church somewhere. That's fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask maybe 1 or 2 more questions, and then we'll wrap up, because I'm getting some feedback that maybe it's kind of cutting in and out. But what I think would be good to do before we go into the last question, is maybe do this more often, maybe once a month, so we can figure out what you guys need. You know what I mean? Would that be good?
We'd love to do that. It was a little scary last night for us when we couldn't get on.
Yeah.
But this worked out really well. I
Yeah.
think there's no problem. And we haven't had any freeze ups. Last night we had a few freeze ups in that practice run.
Right.
So we'd be glad to. I mean, the more exposure we get, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll try to get our big kids to stay up and they can sing you a song or something.
Oh, that'd be good.
Which is so cute to have them sing. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we can do too is, I mean, it doesn't have to be 10. We can even bump it back to 9, which would be 6 your time. So we'll try to be flexible with that too. But so, and also anybody that's still watching or watches the replay or whatever, I mean, they may want to interview you as well. So we just want to make sure we get you guys lots of exposure. That's really what this is about. So
thank you. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Mwah.
Well,
thank you so
I know
much.
Good to see your beautiful faces.
Well, when we came,
I'm sorry I wasn't here when you came. But next time you come, I'll try to be here.
Yeah.
All right.
Whenever we came, I'll close with this. Whenever.
I have one more question.
Oh, you have another question. Go ahead.
I have one more question. Well, because I wanted to just know, is there, if you were to name a number 1 need right now, other than, I mean, money, yes, and we've explained that. So, sometimes people
Our number 1 need right now is to sponsor babies.
Yeah.
We've gotten 23 new babies in under the age of 8 months. None of them have sponsors. That's really hard for us. So that is our number 1 need, is for people just to get on and sponsor a baby, however much. We have people sponsoring for 30, we have people sponsoring for 100, we have people sponsoring for 150, and we have people sponsoring for 300.
Put any figure
Any
there
amount.
you want, really.
That's just the main need that we need right now. We have a couple of big projects, as Michael said, coming up, the church school. We're also trying to solarize the place. Now that we have good water to drink all the time, that's not a big need for us, but to solarize, to get out from underneath about a $1,300 a month electricity bill by putting solar everywhere would be wonderful. So there are some big needs like that coming up. And the board has okayed us to do those things. They've made that okay for us to raise money for those. So You know, we just, I feel like we're just beggars all the time. We're just out there begging. Yeah, I was
okay.
really
It's okay.
embarrassed at first to beg. And I've just decided, no, it's not for us. It's for these babies. Just go ahead and beg.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
So,
I
yeah.
think that I don't, you know, and I think about it, I don't think that, you know what, if we as Christians, and I say this in wholeheartedly, if we as Christians listen to what God would tell us, we would figure out that love without action is nothing. And so you can say you love somebody all the time, but if you don't give of your time, or and a lot of people can't, I understand that a lot of people can't get up and go to Africa. That's okay. But anybody could send $10 a month, $50 a month, whatever it takes. I know that whenever we came, and Mr. Fortson said, you can leave Africa, but Africa will never leave you. It is so true, because Tracy and I came back, and the moment we came back, we redid all of our finances, and we said, no, we are going to give there, because we can see what God is doing there. A lot of times, and I think we should give to our local churches and all that, but a lot of times I can't see what's going on. I can see what you're doing, and true servants of God is who I want to give to. So I ask all of my friends, all of our followers, give to this place, and let's do something that God said, hey, take care of the orphans, take care of the widows. So let's all pitch in, and let's all help over there in Africa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
You bet. All right. Love you guys. Awesome.
All right. Love you too.
Bless your heart.
If you got, thanks guys for jumping on. We'll stay on for 1 second.
All right.
Thanks guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
God bless.
God bless.
All right.
How do we turn off?
I have no idea. Let's just keep going.
Here we go.
Yay,
all right.
So we're done.
Hey guys.
Hey, thanks for I saw some comments that it was sort of sketchy and kind of cutting in and out. So go back and watch the replay, because that's usually how it works the best. But anyway, and for those of you that are with Maseo that were watching, we just wanted to let you know that we did. You know, you guys have provided a well that's providing water for this orphanage.
Yeah.
You take it. Right.
And what a blessing it is, you know, that we were fortunate. God has blessed us in many ways, and we were fortunate that we got to go to Africa. And my heart was changed when I met this man and went to Neema Village. And let me tell you something. You want to give to good organizations. You want to give. You want to know where your money's going. You know, so many times we give blindly. We just give to our churches. And I want to know where my money's going. And so this gentleman and his wife, they could have retired and just took life easy. But you know what? Servanthood and being a follower of Christ is never over, ever. And so there they are in Africa in their 70s.
And they said they got a lot of work still to do.
And still got a lot of work. And so for me and my wife, we will send them money every single month, every single day. We will not skip, because this is a blessing to us. And we will go back. Tracy and I are planning a trip next year.
I don't know about climbing any mountains.
We might. But we are planning a trip next year, and we are going to take we want 4 couples probably to go with us, and we're going to set it all up. We don't know how much it's going to be yet, but if you're interested, let us know. But we will take 4 couples next year.
We want
you to go with us.
Careful.
Yeah. I'm not paying for all of it. If I have extra money like that, I'm sending this new village. But we will. Hello, Kyle. And
hey,
so
Kyle.
we just ask that you open your heart, that you pray, and that you ask God to lay something on your heart. And if you've wondered, where could I give? What could I do that would really make a difference in this world? Give the Neema Village, because they are making a difference. We saw it firsthand, and it's incredible. If you go there and see them little babies, your hearts will be changed forever.
Yeah, and and those of you who jumped on late, go back to the beginning, because they showed us so many little babies, and they're just adorable. So make sure that you share this with people and visit their website.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're okay. Just visit their website, okay? And it's in there, and we'll send it out again. It's www.neemavillage.org.
Well, we'll post it.
We're going to post it, okay? And if you go back to the comments, somebody did post it, okay? Make sure you go there. we just can't stress enough how beautiful this place
Yeah, and
was.
if you guys want to call them up and interview them, they'd love to do it. Anything that you can do to help get them some more exposure, that would be really great, because that will help a lot. Sharing this video, if you want to send them money, if you want to showcase them on your Facebook page, anything like that. All those things really, really help these folks that are over there trying to do good. So,
All right. So,
anyway, I hope you guys have a great Saturday.
so anything else?
No.
All right. We love y'all. Michael, Mr. Fortson, Miss Fortson, we love y'all very much, and honored to be a part of what y'all are doing. God bless y'all. God bless all of our friends. If there's anything that Tracy and I could ever do for anybody, we're always here. We love y'all, and have a blessed day, and remember to celebrate and praise the Lord tomorrow. God bless everyone.
Bye, guys.